Okay, so let's go ahead and assemble our lucky coin box. And what we're going to do is begin by assembling the base. And you'll notice here we've got these pieces. Okay, this piece with the little tiny hole cut out of it is a liner piece that's going to help us shape the actual base. And then this is the piece that's going to go on the bottom. So we're going to take these two pieces, and I've already folded these over, but you don't want to do that just yet. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to place glue on this piece here on the side where there's no teeth. Okay, and you want to get the glue just inside of this little area. There's two tiny little score marks right in this little area here. And we're going to take this side, or this piece, and lay it right on top here. Okay, just like so. Just make sure you've got it nudged up right against those little score marks, and that everything's nice and lined up here at the bottom. And just push down, get that glued into place. Okay, and then what you're going to want to do actually is you can take this and grip it like this, and then using the edge of your table, just kind of run it against the edge of the table to kind of give it a natural curve. Okay, I'm going to do that with the other piece here on the other side. Okay, and you see how that just kind of bent it. Now, I have some glue on here. I kind of made a boo-boo, and that's why it's there. But to close this up, we're just going to go ahead and do the same thing we did with the other piece. Make sure you keep that glue within the area where the score lines are. And we're going to take the other side of this and just connect it, making sure that we've got it right butted up against those score lines. Make sure it's nice and even at the top, nice and even at the bottom. And you can kind of push down from the inside. And actually this piece here, just a little tear that I had. Okay, so that is that. Now what we're going to do, actually got to give it a little more time here on this and on this. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to fold these teeth down. Okay, make sure you've got them nice and folded down. I'm going to flip it around, and we're going to place glue on each of those little teeth in there. Okay, so typically just one little dot of glue should be more than enough. I'm just kind of dab, dab, and then kind of twist, dab, 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 dab. Goes pretty quick. Doesn't need to be meticulous. This is just a liner piece that's going to help with the shape of the container. Okay, so that's kind of what it looks like with all the glue in there. And then you're going to take your two circular pieces. Okay, now in this bundle, or in this project, you've got 4 of these circular pieces. Okay, 2 of them are larger. That's for the lid. And then 2 of them are smaller. One has a hole in it. You can see the hole there. That's your liner piece. That's what you're going to put inside. Texture side up. Okay, and you're just going to work your finger around, making sure you're pushing down to get it to hold real nice. Okay, so that's kind of what it should look like. If you take your time more, do a lot better of a job making sure that all those pieces stayed in place, and don't worry about that. That was a tear when I was peeling it off the mat. Yours is going to be perfect. Okay, so just do your best to get all these tabs down. If for some reason you miss a couple, you can just go in and do some touch-up. Okay, and then I like to flip it back over and just kind of push down in those areas Okay. So that is the basic construction of the bottom of this thing. And then what you're going to do then is glue this piece right on to the bottom to kind of cover up those tabs. And that's going to give you a nice perfect bottom for our container. Okay, so that's pretty much how that works. And the lid is exactly the same thing. Okay, I'm going to take glue, just pop it right on there. Make sure you get it right up to that edge. Glue that down. Make sure everything's nice and lined up at the top, and that it's nice and vertical. I'm going to push that down and make sure it gets a good grip. Okay, and then again, you can take it, hold it like so, run it along the edge of your table to help with that curvature. Okay. And then you're just going to connect it like so. Okay, and then again, you're going to take the tabs, push them down, use the liner, and then close it off on top. So again, same exact process. And actually, since the top is a little bit different, I'm just going to go ahead and do this real quick here. Okay, I'm going to hold that till it dries. Okay, and you may want to kind of take these little areas that overlap, kind of bend them a little bit just to help train them. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and fold the teeth over. Okay, you got it flipped over, and then again, doing my little assembly line thing. Dab, 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 rotate, dab, 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 dab. Just get enough glue on there without slobbering it on too much. Again, this is just a little liner. This glue will definitely hold it. Okay, so we're going to take these two pieces, grab the one with the little hole, okay, texture side up, just kind of pop it in there. It's going to help form the shape, and run your finger all the way around. Okay, and that's what it should look like. Some of those really need to be patient with, give it a few extra seconds for it to hold. I really took my time a lot more when I assembled this final one here. I don't want to spend forever doing it because I don't want you to get bored. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put glue all towards the edge there. You want to make sure that you get some glue towards the edge so that you get a nice crisp edge. And you can put a ton of glue on there. And then we're just going to pop the top on. Just kind of run your finger along the edge. Make sure everything's nice and lined up. And I noticed that it really helps. It's kind of pushed down on the edge. And by doing so, we're really pushing the glue out towards the edge to get a nice clean edge. Okay, so there's our top, and that should fit on there beautifully, and it does. Okay, so we've got the main structure of the box. Now at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little lucky cutouts. Okay, now I've got my texture side up. I'm going to go ahead and bend this over. Okay, and just kind of bend it in half like that. And the idea is to get this lucky to stand up. Now the other side is mirrored, so when you read it, it's going to be like you're looking into a mirror, okay? But what we're going to do is we're going to glue these back to back, okay? Now you can, actually I recommend that you glue these together first. So I'm going to go ahead and place my glue on these guys here. Make sure you get the glue on all the nice letters here. And this is another bottle that I got from Joanne. I've just been kind of experimenting with different glue bottles. And in my last video, you guys probably saw this one, and I like it, and it's very precise. The only thing is it tends to, you have to really keep it clean, otherwise it gets clogged, and I'm not one to do a lot of preventative care when it comes to my glue. So I kind of leave it and then it gets clogged. This one doesn't get clogged as bad, and if it does, it's way easier to clean, and you can actually cut it to specify how big of a diameter you want for that glue to come out. So I found that actually very convenient. Okay, so once we have this, and as you can see, it kind of forms a pot of gold, which is really cool. And we did ours obviously in a gold foil, and that gold foil I just happened to stumble into when I was at Joanne, and it was on sale too, so that was cool. So what you're going to do then is you're going to take this and you're going to glue it to the top. Okay, so that gets glued right on top, and you can either, yeah, I'd probably just glue that on now, and then you've got the horseshoe, okay, and this piece here with the little tiny holes gets glued like this. Okay, we did this in a silver and we did this in a black. So you're going to glue those together, and then you're going to glue that right to the main horseshoe, okay? And you're going to repeat that process on the other side, okay? So that is how that works. Also have this cute little clover that you take these two pieces, just glue them together, and then I took some baker's twine and just kind of fed it through the little holes and then wrapped it around the lucky. It just kind of dangles there. Okay, so we've got a lot of this put together already. The last part is probably the most tedious, but it's very simple. And first thing I want you guys to get an understanding of is how these pieces work and how to decipher what's what, how to interpret what is what, okay? So looking at these, I can already tell this piece here, okay, let me show you this here real quick. You see how you've got these little notches here, and it kind of extends beyond this surface, okay? That is going to be a middle piece, okay? Because what happens is we've kind of designed it so that when you stack these pieces together, they create a gap in the middle, okay? And you know that that's a gap piece. Now some of these pieces, like this piece for example, that is going to be a top piece because it doesn't have the little notches extending up here. And then of course you've got a bottom piece because there's no notches coming off the bottom. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense the way I'm describing it, and you can see how that works. And then for the lid, there's no notches on it. There's no notches on top extending beyond this piece or the bottom. That's how you know that you've got the right piece for the lid, and there should be two of them. Okay, and I will share with you how I decided was the best way to get this on there. So what I did was I started by just kind of dabbing the corners here, because these are the most important parts that need to really stick. Get that out to the edge as far as you can. And then what I did was I kind of put my finger right here and I just ran a very thin line all the way down the edge here. And I did the same thing on the other side. And then, of course, I just went up and down like so, getting my glue between these. there's something rewarding about this process. It reminds me of like shoveling or mowing the lawn. And we're going to go ahead, and what I like to do is actually, when I place this piece on here, I want to overlap that little seam. Okay, so I'm going to push and hold down here, and then kind of just drag it, making sure that I get it nice and flush all the way down. Make sure that it's nice and flush with the top, and then the rest of it just kind of holds into place. Okay, so that, again, we did this with a gold foil. Look how cool that looks. So that little bit of glue there will dry. And then again, we're just going to repeat that process. So I'm just going to dab the edges or the ends, kind of get that in there, and then nice fine line. And go down the ladder. Oops, getting a little reckless here. Take your time. I really enjoyed putting it together, especially with the gold foil. When I got that last piece on there, it just looked so awesome. It's a really, really unique piece. Okay, so when we put this down, just make sure that you get it nice and flush with that other piece there. Okay, make sure it's nice and flush with the top, and then just kind of run it along, making sure that you got nice and even, and then it should pretty much meet up with the other side here. It's pretty much dead on. If for some reason it doesn't match up, and that means that the base, either you kind of maybe didn't glue the two parts properly or something like that, but to me that looks perfect. So that's how that works, and again, you're going to have that piece glued down, so that's how that looks. It actually looks kind of cool in this orange and green. I kind of just did that on accident, but it's very Irish, I guess. With the base of this, it's actually the same process, okay? Same thing I just did, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay these out so that you understand how they work. Again, this piece here, without this little notch extending down, that's your bottom piece. Okay, so that's going to go like that. And then you're going to kind of go up the ladder, or up the coin box, and you're going to grab a piece that has these two little notches coming off. You're going to grab another one with the two little notches. Okay, and then another one. If you see here, I could probably explain this a little bit better. You can see how there's no little notch here at the bottom. Then there's one with a notch here. This one has two notches, this one has two, this one has two, and then this one doesn't have a notch at top, just at the bottom. So there are 5 layers. 3 of them are going to have notches on both sides, and then the top one is going to have just that notch on the bottom. Okay, so basically what we're doing is creating kind of a gap in between each one, and then it should be flush on the top and bottom. So I don't really need to go through this process completely. I will show you one more time here this little strategy that I used. And again, I'm just kind of dabbing the corners and a nice long line down here. And then up the ladder. Doesn't have to be perfect. As long as you get a little bit of glue on there, it'll stick. And I bet even if you kind of skipped one, its neighbor would probably hold it down fairly well. Okay, so this one again, I guess you could technically go bottom or top, it doesn't matter, the pieces are identical. And what I did again was I kind of overlapped the seam so that that's not visible or as visible. And I'm just working my way around it. Just kind of gluing that into place. Now originally when we tried to design this, we were thinking about making all these one panel. But would have been very difficult to glue all those little segments in time before your glue dried. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing. You're going to glue this piece down like so. Okay, you're just going to kind of match these up like that. Okay, you want to make sure that you kind of create this little gap here, and then have the little gap on the other side. Okay, you're going to go down the row with another piece like that, another piece like this, and then finally when you get to the bottom, just match those notches up and the bottom piece will be flush. There won't be that little notch coming out. And then you're just going to repeat the process with the next set of strips. The bottom piece is going to be flush at the bottom. Then you're going to grab this little 2-notch one, glue that into place, glue that into place, glue that into place, and then you're going to finish it off with the one that's flush and just has that one little notch there, and that's going to get glued down like that. So that's pretty much it. It's actually very simple, and there it is. Stay on top of all things Dreaming Tree and engage with us today. Get the latest news and enter in our giveaways on Facebook. Get inspired by following us on Pinterest. Be the first to see our new product launches on Instagram. Do you prefer Twitter? Yep, we're there too. Watch our beautiful product trailers and assembly tutorials on YouTube. For more information, visit www.3dsvg.com. Live, craft, love, and dream.